Dude, wasn't that cinematic lead-in awesome? I thought that was such a great idea. Hats off to Blizz. Whoever came up with that idea, that was awesome. I'm not even a huge PvE guy, but when I saw that cinematic, I was jacked up to head into that cave. I really was. I was like, that is sweet, because it kind of brought you into the story organically. And even if you hadn't been completely in tune with what's been going on, like I think some of us would admit we haven't been, it brought you right up to at least the important parts and threw you in, and you felt like you were hot on the chase. And I thought that was awesome. So what a great way to do it. I hope that's a practice that they'll continue moving forward in content patches, because I thought that was sweet. Can we also just all admit that when it comes to world and zone creation, that this art team and this world design team is just awesome? I love how they're really starting to scale stuff up. And they did just a great job. And flying down into this cave is awesome. It would be really awesome if you could go super fast and there was actually the risk of crashing. And again, the thrusting through the cave is, not really my thing, but it's cool. And this is awesome. And then coming out into this is incredible. And just hats off to the Blizzard art team. If I could kidnap the Blizzard art team, but legally, so I didn't have to go to jail, but then I could keep them and just, I would just make them make these worlds over and over. They are just majestic, beautiful, and if nothing else, you just got to come check out this world because it's just too cool. But it wasn't long before it kind of felt like the same old thing to me. Another island with new factions. And to be honest, I'm kind of wondering who this content is geared toward.
We do have a dev on the quest team who has some pet rats. And so she had all sorts of ideas. And we eventually said, you know what? Why don't you be in charge of figuring out how we're going to do that? So she has used sort of her knowledge of what her rats do and how they react to things to help inform, ideas for what we would do for the culture for the sniffin.
Who are the sniffin and the glitter games and the snail racing and the cave bros? Who is all this for? What's the demographic? Because, they've got a marketing team, right? What demographic are you shooting for? Are we trying to get kids to play WoW again? Is that what this is? This aimed at children? Is this aimed at young, preteens? Are you trying to hit teenagers with this? What age demographic and which group of people are you trying to hit with this content? That's all could we just take a break from one of the scripted interviews for a second and just someone ask them a real question? Who is this for? Because look, this is a lot of work and the art's beautiful and it's, kind of cool, but who is this for? Because rat people and cave bros are cool to a point. And I guess if this was a super intentional design decision and you really think this is going to bring them back, then you got to do what you got to do, right? But are you sure you're not just kind of throwing this stuff out because you're trying to meet this schedule that maybe you don't have the staff to really meet in any real way? And so you're just kind of throwing out generic content where we do the same shit over and over, just reskinned for the same rewards over and over that are just reskinned? You sure that's not what's going on? And this is the problem I think Blizzard's going to have moving forward with this, is that you obviously have this very dedicated group of people that are really into these gear treadmills, and they like them reskinned and rehashed out, and they'll tell you. You can look at the comments below on their videos that people are like, I'm having more fun than I've had since Legion, which is just fucking insane to me, and we'll address that insult momentarily. However, on topic, there's a group of people that love this, and the people that bought Dragonflight are sticking around, according to Blizzard. They're having higher retention than they had in Shadowlands and BFA, I think is the fine print on that, but I'm not 100% sure. And so you do have this island hopping community that loves to hit a new zone with 2 new factions for new gear and new mounts over and over and over again. And they're going to sign up for it. and they're going to tell you they're having a blast. But I think when you look and see that hardcore classic content on YouTube seems to be drawing many more views than your brand new multi-million dollar investment, I think that's concerning. And I don't know what to say about that, because as cool as this world is, I don't really give a shit about the glitter games. I don't really care about snail racing or rock climbing. I don't really into sniffing. I mean, shit sniffing me and smelling me just really kind of creeps me out. And you know, I made that video about say goodbye to old WoW. And it's just, I feel like this content is solidifying to me that I am out of the demographic now. The beautiful thing is that they haven't abandoned me in the PvP department. So there's still a way I get to enjoy WoW. And I think there's some evidence just by hardcore classic success and viewership that if you just compare views to hardcore classic to even this 10.1 launch, you're going to see there's a lot of enthusiasm around hardcore classic. And I think that's because there is a huge former population of World of Warcraft players that are dying to have a World of Warcraft game where they can play with a lot of other players online in the actual World of Warcraft, that where they can go have an adventure with their friends. Not push a higher number, not do some super sweaty instance, perform very well to increase your dampening, but just go out in a world that's dangerous and exciting and fun and just have a blast. Oh, come on, those of you who fell in love with the old World of Warcraft and Orgrim Doomhammer and those guys. Now we're down to Niffin and cowboy hats. And I get that this lands with some people, but it doesn't land with me at all. But listen, if you're one of the people that this content really lands with, don't let some cranky old man ruin it for you. Best of luck to you in the glitter games. And can I just say another content decision that was made that I just completely disagree with is reducing dragons down to like our allies. To me, dragons and dragon broods and factions should be massive. They should be so above us. They should be like wonders of the world. Like seeing a dragon out flying should be huge. It should be an event. Them acting like a bunch of petulant TikTokers going back and forth just does not make them cool. It makes them seem petty and weird and very, I don't know. It just ruins the aspect of the aspects to me. And I get it. Ultimately, they're going to make the reasonable guy the leader, because that's, of course, what we need. We always need reasonable, positive feedback, because that always leads to the best outcomes. So, fucking squares. I hate squares. God, I hate squares. But that's another time. But this thing with the dragons and making dragons turn into people, and then we have to help them, and they're bickering back, it just ruins them. This should be like a spectacle, an event, like something that happens rarely out in the world, like the dragons fly out and they're going or they're playing or whatever. They should be apart from us. We should know that they're out there and that we would never want to fuck with them. That we should just see them rarely in cool, cinematic, awesome ways. Maybe have like world events where the dragons are up. But they should be out there. They should be doing their own thing. They should be above us. I do not like this reduction of them as like these teenage boys that we've got to split up every once in a while. And please allow me to address the insult that is that Dragonflight is as good as Legion. Are you fucking kidding me? Apparently some of y'all let the noxious gas in that cave go to your head. But Suramar alone, this zone was incredible. And remember, while you're running around in your little mud huts down there in the cave, you can actually go inside each of these houses. This entire town is fleshed out. You can go through the marketplace. You can go inside the buildings. There's beds and bars and all types of cool stuff. You think that cave touches this? I think you're crazy. Every major capital city From Stormwind to Ironforge, the Pigpen, the Eyesore, all 4 of those cities need to get the Suramar treatment immediately. It would be awesome. Yet another empty island that stands as a commitment to Blizz's island building campaign. Bravo. Go ahead and throw Mage Tower on the Legion pile too, where to this day, most of the best T-Mogs in the game exist. And if you're a druid, you should be on your hands and knees every day thanking the Blizzard gods for Legion. And it just gets me hot. Have you forgotten about the majesty of class halls? Class halls stand as the pinnacle of the best content in modern WoW. I think class halls were awesome, and that the storylines were awesome for the most part. The rewards, the mounts, the T-Mogs, it was amazing. Absolutely amazing content that to this day I still like to go back and reminisce and just be in. And Demon Hunters are awesome. Everyone's favorite alt right here. This is so awesome with the glaives. I mean, this is old WoW right here. That's what it is. This is when motherfuckers were putting their own eyes out because that's what it took to win. Look at you, handsome. God, DHs are so cool. I'll tell you a fun little bond between Demon Hunters and Paladins. Start throwing your freedoms out on these DHs and you'll start getting a lot of really happy whispers. DHs love those freedoms, but just a badass class, complete home run in my opinion. Unbelievably cool compared to, you think these are comparable to Demon Hunters in coolness and badassery? I cannot even buy into these with the big goofy feet. I don't even know. I got to tell you, if you are just digging these, I don't know. I'm happy for you, but I just cannot. Oh my God. And them flopping around, just yakking on everything. And then this other, I can't do it. And I got to tell you, you ought to be real happy that I'm not in charge of WoW development, because if you showed me this, I would purge everyone that touched it, saw it, anyone that had anything to do with these soggy, froggy, flappy things, sparkly. You would be gone. So congratulations to those of you who love this, but I can't even. And to compare this to Demon Hunters just breaks my heart. Just breaks my fucking heart. So when we mention Legion, can we show some respect, please? Thank you. For those of you asking me to do more guides and stuff, I have them coming. The issue has been that there's so many changes, both to classes and just across the board CC changes and things like that, that I want to wait it until we got into 10.1 and I got to play the classes and then report back to you. Also, with the launch of 10.1, they didn't release the honor gear. So we're PvPing in last season's honor gear. So until I can get the new honor gear and really test out the new talents and battlegrounds and really play around with them for a little bit, it's going to be hard to put a guide together. But they will be coming. And for those asking if I've picked an alt, the answer is yes. And I'm leveling it right now. And I'm also putting together a guide that's going to entice you to level 1 too. And you think you're going to be immune to my charms. But I'm suspect. Time will tell. And flying's as beautiful as it's ever been. But can we have one small discussion here? Is there a happy medium between flying around the world and flying from mob to mob in a quest? Like, do we need to have pocket mounts? Should mounts maybe be relegated to getting to places and, you could have this dragon riding experience from flight path to flight path, but I don't know. Does anyone else feel like maybe just pulling your mount out and hopping to a mob that's 10 feet away because it's 2.6 seconds faster is maybe a little immersion breaking. Is that just me? And hey, look, if this content lands with you, hats off to you. Have a blast. But I've got real concerns about this bringing the crowds roaring back. And I know they dropped the price of Dragonflight by 40%, probably thinking, hey, our retention's better than BFA and Shadowlands. So if we can just get people in, we can keep them. But I think you might just be getting down to your most loyal followers too. That's another explanation. So we'll see. Hopefully I'm wrong and people will come back. And when you factor in that historically, as expansions go on, they lose players. Diablo 4 launches right around the corner. That's going to take a ton for however long. Hardcore Classic is pulling people away from retail. And from a PvP perspective, you really haven't incentivized healers at all for the new season, which was the big problem in your last season. I can see a situation here where retail gets real scarce real quick, but we'll see. And one thing we know is that the next update is going to be very similar to this. They seem very committed to it and they seem to think that it's the solution. But like I said, it doesn't matter what's on that roadmap if people aren't doing it. So we'll see if the sale plus the glimmer races are just what WoW needed, but I don't know, family. I don't know. So as always, the new zone is beautiful and it's cool to roll around in, and you can fly around from rare to rare and loot shit. But I'm just not sure that this new zone, new factions, new mounts formula is just going to work forever and ever. But I could be totally wrong. So for those of you who are just eating this up, best of luck in your glitter games, and may the best snail win. Oklahoma out.